Good evening, YouTube. I'm Sean Farron, and this guy is Tom. Why is it so dark? So Tom's floating head is going to be there in the corner for the duration of this video. Whether or not he wants to pipe up, not really positive.
Nope.
But we're just going to go with it, alright? So I'm just going to jump right into it today. What I wanted to talk about was an idea a friend of mine posed when I was visiting in the city. A friend of mine came up with this idea that nerdy, geeky friendships kind of start off a little rough because there's this sort of stigma against geeky, nerdy people, probably because we're just a little too awesome for most people. So because we're too awesome, we try and hide it from each other, and not just from each other, but from people in general. Although it's perfectly fine, and I in fact encourage it to just go out and be like, I have this nerdy t-shirt! Like, oh, Tom's little nerdy t-shirt, there we go. Mine too, mine's some Woot shirt. There you go, free publicity for you, shirt.woot.com. That's shirt.woot.com, shirt.woot.com!
Just really want to YouTube poop this.
So, since we're generally a shy people, we keep ourselves a little private, you know. It's kind of embarrassing when you admit that you play World of Warcraft, which is really kind of a depressing state of affairs, but let's not think of it that way, because it makes the moment when you find out that your nerd friend plays World of Warcraft and you play World of Warcraft kind of like a moment.
I agree.
Whereas we might hide ourselves from each other, you can walk out and see any number of people wearing a football jersey or a baseball jersey and go like, you love baseball? I love football! You know, I sound really kind of anti-jock, sort of stereotype nerd versus jock thing here, and that kind of upsets me because that's not really how I feel. But it's a good example.
Did you say, are you a baseball?
I don't know if I said I'm a baseball. I'm going to go ahead and check that. I'm going to rewind the video. Rewind in the video. For the record, YouTube, I did not say, are you a baseball? This is really interesting to me because the same two friends who originally came up with this idea actually bonded over World of Warcraft. And I don't mean that in the sense that they met over World of Warcraft and they had this sort of long-distance relationship. I mean that they were hanging out with no romantic interest involved at this point for the first time, and she happened to notice that there was the little World of Warcraft icon on the bottom of his computer there. And he'd never mentioned anything super about being nerdy and stuff. They were just watching movies, and he worked at a tech store, and he could listen to hear what's wrong with an iPod, which is really impressive. But the moment that she saw that icon, she went, what server do you play on? And he had this moment where he was like, Gah! And everything changed about that potential friendship. That moment when they realized that they were both nerds. And that's what I'm talking about here today. You're this sort of nerdy person, and you're hanging out with this person, and you've probably experienced this before. I know I have. Where you have this moment where you both finally just break down and you admit that you have this interest, this sort of hobby, and you share it. And it's a big part of you, and it's a big part of them, and you click. Bam! Everything changes. I find that amazing by the way we work.
Sean, I'm mildly nerdy.
Okay now.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Oh god! I've been hiding it for so long!
We can actually be friends! we need a moment.
This doesn't at all apply to just nerdy friendships, but the thing that I find so fascinating about it is just it's a sort of nature, part of yourself that you hide. There's a lot of things that you hide. Maybe you're into S&M. Maybe you are a furry. Maybe actually you have a mental illness. Maybe you have cancer, you know? It's just stuff that you hide about yourself because you're worried, and there's these moments when you reveal it, and it's not bad at all. In fact, there's a connection immediately. The fact that you said that has elevated whatever you're at to these completely different levels. And am I advocating that we are completely open about everything about us all the time? No. No. So that's the thing that I really love about being a nerd. Besides the fact that it's really fun, is that I have this thing where I can just click instantly with someone and laugh about it afterwards when we both finally realize, holy crap, we spent the last 2 hours making small talk when we could have been talking about the best class in Mass Effect, which, by the way, is Infiltrator. So that's the message today for you, Dan, and everyone on YouTube who's watching this video, who probably is a personal friend of mine, because let's face it, that's the only people who are ever going to see this, is go out. Go forth and be nerdy. Have a great time. And that's it. My name is Sean Fearon, and I'm a rabid wombat.